It's Friday, the 15th of September, 2023. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Jennifer Duke.
Good morning, Michael.
Now, Jen, we have 5 stories to race through in 5 minutes, so let's get cracking. Story number 1, the labour force data has really kind of shocked economists. An extra 65,000 people found themselves in work in August, and the unemployment rate yesterday remained steady at 3.7%.
So economists were largely expecting a rise in the number of people employed, but only of around 20,000 or so. So this was a big surprise to the upside for analysts. And it'll have plenty of people wondering when the heat is going to come out of the labour market. So a record number of people in work right now, and the participation rate is also at record highs. Over the past year, there's been a significant increase in hours worked, which the Australian Bureau of Statistics says is indicative of the demand for labour being met by people working more hours.
Now, of course, Jen, your day job is as the economic correspondent for Capital Brief, so you would be keeping a very close eye on the reaction from economists and also what was said in Canberra.
So Treasurer Jim Chalmers actually called it a tremendous result and a testament to the resilience of the economy. But he reiterated his 3 concerns about impacts on the economy for the year ahead. That's that high interest rates, high but moderating inflation, and continuing global uncertainty will all weigh on the economy and the labour market. ANZ says the deeper data, though, is much more mixed than the headline figure suggests, and the vast majority of the jobs growth was actually part-time, and hours worked over the month actually fell slightly. Underemployment also went up a little bit. This has the bank thinking that there is some slight creeping in, and therefore there's no need for an interest rate change for quite some time.
All right, on to story number 2. An outgoing Myer boss, John King, says shoppers are still out buying in department stores. He says they're all about spring and summer fashion right now, as well as travel wear and kids' goods. But he says sales have slipped 1.9% for the first 6 weeks of this financial year.
So in the year to July 29, sales reached $3.36 billion for Myer, and that is the best year that they've had since 2005. But the slowing this year means that Myer is pretty cautious about what we're going to see for the rest of the year. King is looking to get younger shoppers to join onto loyalty scheme Myer One, and he's actually due to finish up with Myer pretty soon, and there's some headhunting underway for his replacement.
Just quickly, Jen, we've talked a fair bit about thefts because all of the big retailers have been raising this issue. Did King say anything about this as well?
He did. So he said that there's been a spike in theft at Myer's stores, and it's risen to 1.8% of sales compared to 1.3% the year before. That's actually about an extra $16 million in lost stock, and part of that is organised crime. So we are definitely seeing a trend here from those consumer-facing shops of extra theft. And more broadly, it was actually interesting to hear from him what people are actually buying up. So linen clothes, cologne for Father's Day, and suitcases were all top of the list.
Story number 3, Jen, we're going to be waiting longer for the detail on those Aussie content quotas for streaming giants like Netflix and Disney+. The legislation has been delayed amid strikes in Hollywood and also some additional industry consultation from the government.
So Arts Minister Tony Burke says he's still committed to the content quotas, and they're due to be introduced by July 2024. But the legislation was expected in spring, and it's now going to be pushed back. So that's going to force major on-demand streaming services like Amazon Prime, Nine Entertainment Stan, and Paramount Plus to include Australian content when it happens. But it's not yet defined exactly how much content, or whether it's a percentage of revenue or a percentage of content to be created that will be required to be Australian. Screen Producers Australia wants 20% of local streaming revenues to be spent on local content.
Okay, on to story number 4. In case there was any doubt at all, Jen, we are clearly well and truly into spring selling season now. There are almost 2,450 homes scheduled for auction this weekend. This is all based on CoreLogic figures, the busiest since April, and another rise on last weekend.
You were actually at double-digit growth on last year's 2,203 auctions, and this weekend is due to be the big litmus test for how the rest of the season is going to hold up. So Sydney buyers will see 1,010 homes under the hammer. In Melbourne, it's 1,008. There are 203 scheduled in Brisbane, 125 in Adelaide, 104 in Canberra, 9 in Perth, none in Tasmania. Every weekend is giving us a much clearer picture of what activity this busy season is going to be like. And so far it's ramping up in terms of volume, but clearance rates are suggesting a pretty even balance between buyers and sellers right now.
Okay, last one. Story number 5. The European Union has officially launched a new investigation into Chinese electric vehicles and in particular subsidies that it claims are distorting the European market. This is big.
It is really big. It's probably going to be one of the biggest trade cases on record. The European Commission is saying that global markets are flooded with cheaper Chinese EVs, and they don't accept this situation as competitors are being undercut by huge state subsidies in China. The issue was raised privately with China's premier by the EU at the G20 summit last weekend. That's according to the Financial Times. And this could mean that tariffs are put in place if breaches are found in a bid to protect local industry. There have been concerns from member countries like France about the future of domestic car manufacturers, so this makes sense. But China's hit back via state-owned Global Times, saying that trade protectionism is poison for Europe's economy.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Jen.
Thanks so much, Michael.
It is Friday, the 15th of September, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.